This week's Ask Pastor Mark comes from George. Thanks for sending in the question, George. He's a dad, he says, with 7 kids. That's awesome. Praying for you, George. You are on zone defense, you and your wife, man, outnumbered and surrounded. We had 5, 7. That's a big deal. Many of the kids are adopted. Thanks for doing that. Jesus was adopted by Joseph, so that's always a good thing. And what he says is that he has a 16-year-old daughter, and a few days ago, she came home and told him, "Dad, I've got a boyfriend." He's like, "What the heck do I do with that?" Well, first of all, it's a good thing that she talked to you. It's a good thing that she came to you. It's a good thing that she was over with you. But it seems like if they're already dating, unless this was really recent and rapid, that there's maybe been a little bit of covert behavior, some things going on that you didn't know about. That, as a parent, would be of some degree of concern for me. We've got the 5 kids, and our kids are in that age. Our oldest is engaged, and our other kids are, following suit and love the Lord and getting to know people and figuring out their future. And let me just give you a little encouragement. And I would say it's important for all of us parents to think through, if we do love the Lord and we love our kids and we want our kids to love the Lord and marry someone that loves the Lord, how do we view dating, relationships, all of that? And this is kind of what Grace and I have told our 5 kids, that first and foremost, you start with friendship. Get to know each other in group settings, bring them over to the house, let our family get to know them, go to their house, get to know their family. Anytime that a couple immediately pairs up and disappears from relationship and community, especially if they're really, really young, like middle high school years, that can be very dangerous because they can get into a lot of trouble very, very quickly, and no one really knows about that. So we say start with friendship. And that way, if the relationship has a romantic future, it's on the foundation of friendship. And friendship is crucial for marriage. When the Bible says, husbands, love your wives, wives, love your husbands, a lot of that is friendship. It's the practical daily stuff of doing life together. It's not good to be alone, so God creates a spouse to be a friend along for the journey. Song of Solomon 5:16b says, "This is my lover, this is my friend." That's their definition of marriage, and it's a great one. So we would say, hey, start with a friendship, and if for some reason the romantic relationship doesn't develop, you're friends. That's fine. And if it does develop, it's built on the basis of friendship. And then what we told our kids was, the next step is intentional dating. Casual dating, you date multiple people, there's not really an agreed upon outcome you're looking at or driving toward, and usually this leads to a lot of temptation and oftentimes a broken heart. One person thinks we're exclusive, the other says no, we're not. One person thinks, we're going to be together forever. The other person says, no, this is just a season for me. It can lead to a lot of heartache and heartbreak. So what we like is not casual dating where the terms aren't really agreed upon. You don't really know who's doing what or where the relationship stands. But what we call intentional dating, and that is one person, not just dating everybody, but like I've met one person, and that's where having friendships with lots of people, that's great. Then you meet one, you think, oh, I have a particular interest in that person. That can be intentional dating, saying, we're going to spend some time together and get to know one another. And the point of intentional dating is to evaluate and to consider, is there a potential long-term future? Could this turn into a long-term romantic relationship? And if not, my encouragement as a parent is always, well, if you don't see this as going somewhere, don't be dating them. Because the goal is ultimately to be married, and if this is not the person you're going to be married to, then feel free to have a friendship with them, but a dating, romantic relationship, seen together as a couple, that's not a really good idea. Part of the intentional dating as well, at least in our household, because we do love our kids, as it sounds like you do, George, is we want to get to know this person, and we want them to get to know us. And as a dad, I've got 2 daughters, and it sounds like this situation is your daughter. Is he a good guy? Does he love Jesus? Is he safe? Does he have any addictions? Is he violent? I mean, who is he? And I want to get to know him. And then if I find some areas that are of concern, I can talk to the young man or talk to my daughter about that. And if I think he's a good guy and just needs encouragement and development, well, then kind of be a father figure. Love, encourage, help, bless, come alongside of him. But it's really important that the family, if the family's godly and healthy and intact, that they're somewhat involved in the formation of the relationship. And then after friendship, intentional dating, then it's engagement, if things keep moving forward. Meaning they are of a life stage that they're ready to be engaged. And so if you're 14 or 15, you're not there. If you're graduated or you got a job or you moved out of your parents' house or you're financially independent, well then, yeah, you're ready. You're ready to look at engagement. And engagement then leads ultimately to marriage. And so the goal is marriage, not just to have somebody to be with or to hang out with or, God forbid, just to sleep with, but somebody to marry and to do life with. That's really the hope, prayer, and goal. And so I would just encourage you, don't discourage your child and say, this is forbidden, the answer is no. I would draw out of them, what are the desires of your heart? What are you hoping for? What are your long-term goals? Why do you like this person? What interests you about them? What is the status of the relationship? Can we get to know them? And I would involve yourself, because sometimes as a parent, if you come down too hard, too heavy, too fast, then what happens is everything becomes covert, secretive. They have a relationship on the side. You're not involved. You don't know the person. You don't have direct line of communication. And that's when especially a young girl could find herself, tragically, as is often the case, in a really dangerous predicament because she's alone with a guy that nobody knows. And his dads, we all know that's a scary thing. So praying for you and your family, but that would be my encouragement to you. Friendship, and then, if and when ready, intentional dating, one person, getting to know each other at a deeper level. If it doesn't work out, we go back to friendship. If it does work out, we move forward toward engagement. And if we work through a premarital process, then we go ahead and put a date on the calendar and get married. So if you've got a question, send it in to hello@markdriscoll.org. And who knows, maybe yours will be next. Thanks.